few months ago, it was just another fine day like this one where I was on a hunt to be the most basic version of myself that I could be. So of course, I did a room makeover. This glass is empty. I did it all for the aesthetic. Why am I like this? The goal was simple. Number 1, decorate my university room in the easiest way possible because I'm not gifted in any form of arts and craft, and there's a reason I chose medical school in the first place. Goal number 2, not spend like 100 euros. Good enough. Goal number 3, spend 2 months doing this project because you're the queen of procrastination and only had the motivation to do it once you realized that you were coming home for the summer but then realized that the whole room makeover would have been pointless. That's the one. First, I rearranged my room to optimize as much space as possible, moving things around with my noodle arms until realizing that I had this awkward death trap waiting to happen. There was too little space to cross to get to the bathroom as it is. Furthermore, there are these wires on the ground for my keyboard that's bound to trip me one day. So I reluctantly moved my keyboard out of my room for the sake of protecting my clumsy self. This was how the room was looking. It wasn't a bad room, but I just felt like the colors didn't match, and at the time, it didn't really feel like home. So we're starting with this wall table, which is the first color issue I wanted to fix. I then used this thing called contact paper. Basically, it's like a wallpaper with a sticky side, and when used on the table, it looks good as new. Here I'm just unraveling the contact paper bit by bit, applying it on the table, smoothing it out, and rinse repeat. Even for me, this was easier than I thought to cut out with scissors or a penknife, and the parts where I mess up and piece together with all the random leftover bits don't seem obvious at all. Overall, this was how it turned out. I was so happy about this to a point where I considered contact papering my entire kitchen counter. Like, wow, more ambitious to grab that aesthetic than to up my grades. Next, I wanted to tackle this area that felt a bit blank and decided that with zero experience in doing anything practical in my life at all, I decided to drill holes into a wall to make a wall shelf. I really outdid myself. Although jokes aside, I did need space to put my endless textbooks that my university constantly recommended me, but I only ever read through a solid 3 times over the academic year. So again, with my noodle arms, I screwed together a shelf to the best of my ability. But of course, before drilling into a wall, I thought to myself, how do I make this shelf more basic? Oh wait, I know. I would paint it white like the Pinterest wannabe I am. So I balanced my 2 shelves on some empty pasta sauce glasses and began painting. Now I have to say that while I hate painting or doing art in general, this was a frankly fun thing to do. Now after you Wingardium Leviosa your 2 shelves, you're ready to drill some holes. Oh yeah. So I carefully used a stud finder, marking any areas where there were wires behind the wall, getting that wrong a couple times too many, and finally drawing on where I'd have to drill. The idea would be that I'd have to drill a hole, hammer in a wall plug, and screw in a screw until it was jutting out about 12mm for the shelf to be hooked onto. But an idea can only remain an idea unless it was brought to reality. Actual execution of said idea, I imagined, would be a lot harder, as one might expect. And because I was absolutely terrified that I would mess up and get my butt whooped by my parents, I didn't film very much, but just know that my noodle arms did it.
There'll be no wedding bells for today. Today. Today.
I was so happy I didn't have to randomly put my books everywhere anymore, and that while this shelf might fall on me one day, I'll first give myself a pat on the back for doing this in the first place. And for some motivation, if I can drill a hole in the wall, you can do anything in this life that you have. Next, I wanted to frame out some photos to add a bit of personality, and by a bit, I mean a lot, because clearly I love to feed my own ego. Here, to take off the stand from a photo frame, I just twisted it back and forth until it came off naturally. I trimmed my ego-boosting art to size and then was preparing to frame it. Now I didn't want to put additional holes in the wall anymore, so I went with this other option. It's kind of like command strips, except instead of sticking it together, it's more like velcroing it together. Now I have to admit that this was definitely a more expensive option than just traditionally nailing a screw into a wall and hanging the frame onto that screw. But yeah, I was just really scared my parents were gonna kill me, okay? Another more sentimental and cheesy picture I framed up would be this quote. I wanted it to be motivating but also real, so I purposely made the R's capital, meaning that no matter how much of a hero you are to yourself, you might never be perfect, and that's fine. Also, it's all to balance out the other one, which was purely narcissistic on my part. Moving on to this other table that I have, the pine color isn't horrible, but at this point it just wasn't tying into the whole look of the room. So I did the only thing a logical person would do to fix this issue. Also, painted white. It was actually a lot harder painting this one compared to the shelf and needed many coats to appear as white as I wanted it to be. So I guess this table wasn't really meant for painting, but there I was, disrupting it from being what it truly was, forcing it to be something it wasn't, and now I feel bad for painting it, damn it. But like everything else, despite giving my table a horrible identity crisis, I really like it, because at least it goes well with all my other white stuff. And that's all that matters in today's day and age. The last one was pretty unplanned, but we decided to change out the divan and the bed for a new bed frame. I posted on my Instagram stories saying that I single-handedly moved the bed from the second floor right to the front porch, and my friend said that she would only believe me if I had proof. To which, unfortunately, the only proof my friend is getting is me stubbing my toe because my noodle arms gave out and the divan crashed onto my pinky toe. I was in too much pain to film anymore. But I promise you I did it all by myself, okay? The thing that I didn't do by myself would be building the bed frame, in which my two trusted companions helped me. The other being my sister, whose help was to give constant moral support by sitting in a corner and eventually actually helping us screw stuff when we were both tired. A few hours later, along with a few dead hand muscles, we got the job done. And all that was left were the easy parts. Finally, let's hear what past Adeline thought about the whole experience. Now, right after an entire video of makeover, believe it or not, I don't actually value aesthetics as much. Like, do you see any fairy lights in here? That being said, I did want a cleaner look, which is why there's this exceedingly white theme in the room. So my tiny room tour starts off with 3 different tables for 3 separate functions. Well, I said I didn't value the aesthetics. Over here would be where I spend 90% of my time. So really, why do I need the other 2 tables? So here we have a shelf full of very overweight medical books, which I hope won't fall on me and lead to my inevitable death. And over here, I have made this cupboard situation into a makeup table. Who needs that many tables? Why do I need so many tables? And over on this very messy little corner I have here, I decided to make this into a creative space, whatever that means. I never really did this before. I used to do everything on one single long table without any separation of my personal life and my work life. Not that healthy, I guess. Over time, I thought that I was being less and less productive, so I hope that this separation would solve a little bit of the issue. And the part that makes me the happiest is probably this bed. This glorious, glorious bed. It's nice, it's comfy, it's all I could ask for. I have no complaints here. Why I decided to go through all the trouble of making a bed frame by myself along with my very, very limited trusted companions is so that we could have this space underneath the bed where I can store things and quite possibly a dead body. All in all, I did put in quite a bit of effort into this, and it has transformed from a kind of cluttery place to a not so cluttery space. I thought that I was going to be here for the entire summer so that I could enjoy my entire makeover, but I literally got this makeover done 2 days before I am leaving. Who is this makeover even for if I'm not even here to appreciate it? So yeah, I guess I'll see this bed in 2 months. Thanks for watching. Bye. Also, I hope that future editing me has a lot of fun editing through this hours and hours of footage. Thanks. Thanks a lot.